And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we start with politics, and tensions are rising in Malava tonight, where the DAPK candidate Seth Panyako is alleging a full-blown voter bribery scheme ahead of Thursday's by-election. Panyako claims that UDA operatives have been moving through the villages under the cover of darkness, handing out cash to sway residents to their side. Panyako says that he has already filed a formal complaint to the IEBC, submitting 2 videos that he believes shows UDA leaders bribing locals. He insists the exercise went on throughout the night, accusing the ruling party of breaking election laws and urging authorities to intervene immediately. But UDA's David Ndakwa is pushing back, dismissing the claims as pure propaganda from a rival who knows he has already lost. Here is a glimpse of the intrigue in Malava.
Tuko na ushahidi na hiyo mkutano na video zimechukuliwa na tayari nimetuma kwa IBC Malava. Kwa hivyo mimi nataka kuambia wakaaji wa Malava kwamba kama watakuja na hizo pesa, vile tumekuwa tukiwaambia tu, nyinyi chukueni pesa. Kitu ambacho hamstahili kufanya ni kumpa mtu kitambulisho yako.
Wamesense defeat, that is why they are in a panic mode. Nimesema akishinda sina shida, nitamsalamia na watu wa Malava. Maisha yao iko important kuliko as an individual. Na mimi nikimshinda akubali.
Now, folks, in Kasipul, the stage is set for a highly anticipated mini poll as residents prepare to cast their ballots. Election officials say that they are ready, while local leaders are urging voters to turn out in large numbers. Sydney Chazima is in Kasipul tonight and joins us live. Good evening, Sydney. What's going on in Kasipul?
Thank you very much, Muyakane, from studios in Nairobi. As you've rightly said, we are in Kasipul constituency, and right here is Agoro Sare High School, where the IEBC has designated this school as its constituency tallying center, where all the 5 wards in Kasipul will be bringing their votes here for the counting and for the tallying and for the final announcement and giving of the certificate to the winner who will be projected here. Just to inform you that Kasipul constituency has 5 wards. That is Kasipul Central, we have Kasipul West, we have Kasipul East, we have West Kamagak and East Kamagak. And speaking to one of the returning officers here, she told us that IEBC's data shows that Kasipul constituency has 67,513 voters. And according to her, historically, only 40% turn up for the voting exercise in by-elections. And by 40%, she was speaking to close to around 30,000 voters who are expected to turn up in the 5 wards, I beg your pardon, just to make sure that they exercise their constitutional right and vote in their next MP. And speaking of MP or the candidates, we are talking about 10 candidates, you can imagine, Muyakane, but we have only had about 2. That is Philip Nasho Naroko, who is running on the independent ticket, and Boyd Were, who is also on ODM's ticket. And the 2 of them have hit national headlines, and perhaps not for the better reasons or the good reasons. It's because of the violence that has been witnessed here, the campaign-related issues, violence. And we've seen the IEBC, which is the referee of this game, I should say, has summoned them, and we saw the chairperson of the IEBC's Electoral Code of Conduct Enforcement Committee just talking to them and telling them that should this persist, we shall be fining you, and as you saw that, we've seen a reduction of activities here. And just to say that maybe the candidates have complied. And just to bring you up to speed on what is going to happen tomorrow here, is that IEBC chairperson Erastus Edung Ethekon will be in Kosele area in this Kasipul constituency just to check how the electoral materials have been packaged, how the non-strategic materials have been distributed, and he's also coming in with the ballot papers, and we are told that exercise will be happening tomorrow. So right now we are just here at the tallying center, just finishing up this update so that we can come to you tomorrow with more updates from the chairperson of the IEBC. And right now I'll be taking you to Mike Kagwongo, who is in Bere North, I believe.
Thank you so much indeed, Sydney Chazima. We coming to you live from Embu County here in Embu Town. And this is where Mbere North constituency by-election will be conducted just a few kilometers from this town, but we'll be heading there tomorrow to make sure that we at least get a glimpse of what will be expected on Thursday. Earlier on today, we mingled out with IEBC CEO Hussein Marjani and other IEBC officials as well as security officials who indicated that there will be indeed tight security during the ongoing exercise on Thursday. That is expected about 55,124 voters, registered voters in Mbere North constituency will be expected to vote in 3 wards, including Muminji, Tawa, and Vurore ward. So we will be expecting to have a very conclusive exercise on Thursday. But tomorrow, just before giving a glimpse of what's expected tomorrow, Hussein Marjani spoke to us and media and public saying that everything is set, and tomorrow they will be expected to be opening the ballots that are actually having the ballot boxes and ballot papers to be distributed across the 134 polling stations. And this is what Hussein Marjani had to say earlier on.
The preparations for setting up the materials has already started. For the non-strategic materials, everything is already placed. I think we are waiting for tomorrow, whereby the ballot will be opened in front of all the stakeholders, including the agents, the media, and all important people who are supposed to be there. And then after that, the returning officers, of course, together accompanied with their police officers, will be flagged off to be taken to their respective polling stations. We've also had a very fruitful meeting with the security agents of this place. In particular, we had the meeting with the DCC and the other security details. They have already explained to us in terms of preparations, how they have set up the security, and I think we are comfortable in terms of how they have organized the security. I think everything is set well.
IEBC, we are ready to conduct a free, fair, and credible election. And I would wish to ask our voters, when you cast your vote, please accept to leave the polling stations, because that is the requirement of the law, so that we can be able to conduct our work in a professional and transparent manner.
Thank you indeed. Those are sentiments from IEBC officials farming to Kenyans and Mbere North voters that this exercise on Thursday will be free and fair across all the divides. This is despite opposition, a section of opposition leaders alleging that there might be rigging exercises or expected such kind of things. But security officials, including IEBC officials, says that is not in mind. That is not might not be expected. It should not be expected. Actually, the exercise will be free and fair. Tomorrow, we expect IEBC officials to be opening the ballots at 8 a.m. and by 5 p.m. they intend to have distributed the ballot boxes and papers across all 134 polling stations in the 3 wards here in Mbere North constituency. The exercise will be opened at 6 a.m. on Thursday, so it will be a huge exercise, and just here and there to make sure we'll be here and there to make sure that we bring a glimpse of whatever will be unfolding on Thursday in all the 3 wards here in Mbere constituency. So we'll be as well talking to a section of aspirants tomorrow to make sure to see how prepared they are to, at least as we wait for Thursday during the D-Day where IEBC will be conducting this long-awaited exercise, and Mbere North residents will be making sure that they elect their favorite or their preferred candidate who will be representing them in Parliament. Back to you, studio from Embo County. I am Mike Kagwango.
Thank you, Mike Kagwango and Sydney Chazima, for those comprehensive reports from Mbeere North and Kasipul, respectively. Like they said, we shall be keeping tabs on what's happening in those necks of the woods, and we shall bring you everything up to date, particularly on Thursday when the by-election actually begins. But let's have a look at something else, still connected. Now, with the country hours or maybe a day away from a string of high-stakes by-elections, political analysts are already sketching possible outcomes and the national implications that could follow these results. Now, their eyes are on Mount Kenya, the opposition strongholds, and the heavyweight politicians who have thrown their muscle behind these mini polls, from the Deputy President Kithure Kindiki and Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi to CS Jeffrey Ruku and Speaker Moses Wetangula. Analysts say that the results could reshape political fortunes, including those of Rigathi Gachagua, Kalonzo Musyoka, and the wider opposition wing. Others argue that the contests are too localized to predict what will happen in 2027. But all of them agree that the political temperature in the country has risen sharply. Let's take a listen.
Ni leo si leo. Ni leo si leo.
For the past 2 weeks, it has been a tug-of-war between the government and the opposition, each side pulling strongly towards its own interests. The by-election campaigns have marked by sharp political exchanges and even moments of violence. One might think the outcome of these by-elections determines the political survival of the candidates involved. But why all this tension?
If Kithure Kindiki loses the Mbeere by-election, politics is about numbers. If it is happening in your backyard and you cannot bring it home, then there is no need of having you. That is politics.
Political analysts predict that the results of these by-elections may shift the country's political trajectory, with the winners positioning themselves as dominant players ahead of the 2027 general election.
We know Kindiki mostly come from that side of Mount Kenya. And for him also to prove himself relevant and worth the seat of DP, he must try to bag that seat.
If at all the opposition wins the Mbeere by-election, it will be a very good bargaining power towards the 2027 elections. All right? Okay? Because they will actually show the government that we have stamped our authority that Mount Kenya has shifted completely away from you.
However, some argue that these by-elections will not necessarily determine political dominance in the 2027, comparing the situation to 2006, when the NARC Kenya party performed strongly in by-elections, only to underperform in the 2007 general election.
NARC Kenya won 3 seats, but when it came to the general elections, the NARC Kenya did poorly. So sometimes the gauge of the political 2027 will not be the by-elections.
Nevertheless, based on the intensity of the campaigns, with each side fighting tooth and nail, it is clear that these mini polls could influence the structure and formation of political coalitions heading into 2027, both within government and in the opposition.